Hello. I'm balancing my phone on top of my whiteboard and standing on a chair. And that's why, because my laptop camera broke. Okay. I have a presentation of some of the major contradictions in our current society. Okay. So I'm going to examine a bunch of different points that are politically supposed to be true. But I'm going to show how all of these truths are at war with one another. So it's impossible to be politically correct. It's impossible to be coherent and to have a working mind or framework of what's acceptable or what is the truth, okay? Because it's deliberately confusing. So, number one, abortion is a woman's right. That's not a controversial thing to say. That's probably a politically correct thing to say, right? It's a fact, right? Except here's number two. There's no such thing as a man or a woman. A man can become a woman can become a man. Gender's a spectrum. That's fact, or like, I'm going to call these premises. So premise one and premise two contradict each other, because how can it be a woman's right if there's no such thing as a woman, right? Okay. And then number three, the government can mandate what goes into your body, such as a vaccine. They have that right and they can do that. Number four, my body, my choice for abortion. So if the government tries to tell a woman, hey, that has a heartbeat, you can't stop it from beating anymore and get it out of you, the woman would say, my body, my choice. Except there is no such thing as a woman. It's just a person, because it's a man or a woman, which reminds me of another contradiction, which is the pronoun they. So, but before I get into that, my body, my choice applies for abortion for a woman, except there are no women technically, and if a person wants to be unvaccinated, they would say, if they say my body, my choice, it's nope, it's the government's choice what goes into your body for the good of society. So the government can simultaneously mandate vaccines and then allow abortion, which is a contradiction, okay? And then the word they, before I get into the next point, they is a pronoun that refers to more than one person, like a group of people. It could be he's and she's, if there is such a thing, right? And you would say they went to the store, and you're referring to multiple people. If you walk in on a conversation and someone's saying they shot me, you would think, okay, more than one person shot that person, right? Okay, so that's what they means. However, they now also can refer to a person who doesn't want to be called a he or a her, so he prefers to be called they, or they prefer to be called they. Okay, so this is a contradiction. It's confusing. They has lost its meaning if people actually were doing that, and it's a problem coherently. Okay, and then number five, freedom of speech. I have the freedom of speech. I live in America. It's the First Amendment. I'm protected. I can I can say whatever I want on the internet. I don't have to censor myself. I just say what I want, and I'm protected under freedom of speech. And then number six is, censorship from YouTube for contradicting the authorities, or Google or Facebook, Twitter. They will censor you if I've been censored, and they'll tell me the reason, and what their reasoning is they'll say it's medical misinformation because I'm saying things that contradict what the private companies are saying about their own private medicine. Okay, So a company comes out with a product, like Porsche comes out with a car, and I come on the internet and I say, I don't like this Porsche. I think it's ugly. I think it drives bad. And then I'm essentially removed from YouTube because it's dangerous, because everyone needs to get in a Porsche. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. It's a private company. Okay, so I should be able to say, here's why I don't want to take that, or here's what I think it is, or you know what I mean? It's freedom of speech, but we simultaneously have it and we don't have it, right? Okay, and then number 7, protests need permits. Like I saw somewhere, like some article one time, it just said like, and these protests, they didn't get a permit for this, and it's like, defeats the entire purpose of a protest. Hey, can we protest tomorrow? It's like, that's not what protesting is. Protesting is the government does something egregious and the people go to the streets and say, we won't allow this. We're all going to riot if you don't stop. And there's no time for permits. That's bullshit. So those are the contradictions. And I think Jamie Lannister said it best when Catherine, the Stark lady, she says, Catelyn Stark, she says, you've forsaken every vow you've ever took, kingslayer. And he goes, what a king he was. And he says, they make so many vows. They make you swear and swear. Protect the innocent. Obey the king. Obey your father. And then he's like, but what if my father despises the king? What if the king orders the slaughter of the innocent? It's too much. And his point he's making is there's all these different things that he's swearing to do, and they come into conflict with each other. So if you're trying to be keep up with the political correctness, and you call one person a they, and you say there's no such thing as a man or woman, but then are you against women's rights? And when you say my body, my choice, well, does that apply to people who don't want to get vaccinated as well? So there's a lot of different problems with just very basic contradictions. This is like logic 100, like in philosophy class. Like, you can't have all these conflicting truths without the whole thing just being wrong. So, all right, God bless. MaxJane.com.